Up, gang? Hope you're doing well. This video, I wanted to check in with Anthony Goods. He's a former NBA scout, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But how NBA scouts write reports during games. Luka Doncic film study. Former NBA scout. Better not be lying to me, Anthony. Anthony Goods. Anthony Bads, if you're lying. But we'll check this out. I like some of his videos and the ones I've seen anyways, and it just gives a different perspective. He's done a couple covering contracts and things, so yeah, go like, go subscribe, go show some support.
Today I'm going to show you how a scout takes notes during a game. We're going to treat this like I'm in the stands watching one player, and we're going to start building a scouting report off of one quarter. You're not going to get the full life story off of one quarter, but you will get to see the process. What gets written down, what gets ignored, and how reports start taking shape. Today we're going to watch the first quarter of a Luka Doncic game the year before he got to the NBA.
Man, he looked so much more explosive when he was younger. I say younger, he's like 17.
I'm Anthony Goods, former NBA scout. You already know what we're doing today, but before we get started, I'm going to walk you through my setup. But keep in mind, every NBA team and every scout has a different process. I write my reports in the Notes app in the iPhone. Makes it easy to recall and search from your iPhone or your laptop. Before the game starts, I like to prep the written sections and divide the report into sections. Physical is for the body and athleticism. Offense is what happened in the game offensively. Defense is what happened in the game defensively. And conclusion is final thoughts. Nothing crazy, but this is the structure that we build the reports. Now that we set up, let's get to the game. So first play of the game, it looks like they're running a post-up action for him. I guess I could just pause right here, but normally what you do is you like to do a little research on both teams. If I'm scouting Luka individually, I also want to know, something about the other team as well. And what I can see here is he has the best perimeter defender guarding him right now.
And he's being top locked. So how does he deal with this? Does he seal in the post and they throw it over the top? Do they just run through their entire set like they're supposed to do?
So as he scores on,
oh yeah, look to score. Again, this is a Kobe thing that I learned. This is what I like to look for. I'm sorry, this is not my video. I'm not supposed to be breaking this down, but I'll try to stop after this. But when I'm watching, I like to look at these things. If he's a scorer, is he always looking to score? And like I said, I learned that was just a Kobeism that really changed my game. Is like always looking to score, and he does here. So even though the play is probably, it looks like it's for him to come out off a dribble handoff actually, and then probably into a pick and roll. But look, always be a scorer. So he looked for this lob and this pass, and it didn't get thrown to him. And instead of stopping, he immediately pops to catch the ball, and now he's got a little closeout to work with. And he does it, but it's just like always looking to score. That's a very Steph Curry thing. It's a small detail I think a lot of people miss. Elite scorers are just relentless. They're always looking to score, and because they're always looking to score, it just sets them up to score in other ways.
Size, his comfortability playing out of the post, and the fact that the best perimeter defender was on him from the start of the game. Now on the other side of the floor, we can see that he's guarding a three-man, which is a shooter, not really a driver, but he does have size. So I'm not sure if this matchup was due to Luka's lack of foot speed or if it was due to purely a size matchup. But
again, this is what I look for. Looking to score. Look at what Luka does on this rebound. Obviously, I see the other parts too, and it's really funny. I've never watched this. I mean, I might have seen him play before I really knew who he was. But I never would have keyed in and focused on him. But just like you can see, he's not the guy that's going to go get a rebound, but look what he is trying to do. He's always trying to score. So look at him leaking out, already up the court, and then gets his eyes up the court straight away off a dribble. Like you can see so much of his game already. That's crazy.
Purely a size matchup, but that's something to kind of keep in mind and to note early on in this game if I had never seen Luka play before.
And then again, this is, it's going to sound like I'm bashing Luka just because like hindsight is 2020, but watch what he does on this pass. He just stops, completely stops, and assuming his teammate's going to go for a layup. But if you watch most of these other point guards that play like EuroLeague, they don't stop. They don't stop moving no matter what. So he's going to chase down just in case he misses. And then he's going to stay there so he can pick up full court. So you can already tell he doesn't have that type of motor. He's got an offensive motor when he has the ball in his hand, but his motor for off ball stuff is just non-existent. See, like, look, every single other person beats him up the court. And he's just like, I'm good. Because you've just got to think. And I know people will be like, well, he made the layup. There's no need to run. But when you're thinking of this high of a level of player, you would assume, like if you look at Jimmy Butler, watch Jimmy Butler, not as much now, obviously, but he was someone I watched in real life, and you could see all of this stuff happen. And I was like, damn, okay, there's a different level to some of these guys' motors. Right here, he would just sprint up because he knows he's going to pick up the ball, or maybe he can get a steal on the inbounds. There's just like no off switch. Watching guys like Luka, they just have an off switch so often.
Nothing special there.
Damn, I'm hijacking the video again.
Now, this is the first on-ball action that Luka was involved with. He ended up going under. I don't think this was a lack of effort. I think it was just more so because
he said it wasn't a lack of effort, but watch. We've already pointed out a couple scenarios, right? And I'm being pedantic on Luka just because we know what he's capable of, but keep breaking it down. Okay. Paying more attention to Luka now since you're a Laker fan, so you're intrigued. After what we just pointed out of him stopping off the ball, right? So we can start learning a few things. And I say this a lot to people. I can pretty much learn someone's character within the first 5 minutes of the game. Luka already stopped after that pass. Not a big deal. I would not be like, oh, I'm not going to recruit this guy because of that. But it's an important point to keep up here. Now watch this screen. Goes under, which again, not a huge deal, right? Because he's smart enough where he's like, I'm just going to shortcut it and move over here. Then watch what he does here again.
Because the screen was so high.
Under the screen again.
And it was a dummy action.
And it's just like, oh, so he's always going to do the technical right thing. Like he'll be in pretty much the right spot, but he's never going to just give you more. It's just, he'll give you he'll give you about what's the baseline on defense. He's not going to give you more. Because what was the Thomas Isolo? What was his big deal on screens? The reason that screens work is if you arrive late. So right here, if this is just a better screen and a better attack, like that screen should just be a little bit lower. It should just be lower, and he should be getting downhill, and that should give a switch and a mismatch. It's not because of Luka's defense. It was just they kind of flubbed the play right there.
Really know what their game plan is or what their defensive system is, so you can't be too harsh on grading guys defensively. You can only just make your own assumptions based on what the player is doing and what other players on his team are doing. Here's a great example of us not knowing what the defensive rules are. Typically,
I don't know, Anthony. I feel like you're giving him a lot of love right here because again, this is just a 2v1 situation. You gotta make a play, and he just gets caught flat-footed.
Here, and he will be the next line of help, and Luka will probably.
So either if that's Luka that's supposed to help, and then this guy up here is supposed to cover two, or if he's supposed to be the help and Luka's supposed to cover two, neither of those happened.
Probably drop and split the two, and seek whatever pass is coming out if the pass comes out. But nobody comes to help. Luka gives a half effort to get to the closeout. So
if I were watching that play, and I had to grade Luka based on what I saw last possession where he threw the ball and just stopped running, I would wager like, okay, he's probably just a lazy defender, which is fine. If you can score 40, well, I'll take it. Like if your offense is that good, we'll take it. But I think it's nonsense to just not pay attention to that stuff because now we're seeing it in the NBA, right? That's one of the issues the Lakers is having is Luka's just not interested on that end of the court. And he's one of my favorite players, so I'm not bashing Luka, but it's just like these things are so glaringly obvious. It's wild that he's had so much success without really having that much effort on the defensive end.
That I would write in that moment. But the goal with some of my notes is not necessarily to write a final draft, but to write snapshots that I can refer back to as I'm putting my final report together after the game or the next day. So now it looks like they're going back to that post-up play, which confirms his comfortability playing out of the post. And what I love here is the quick decision to hit the roller before the double team even reaches him. This will be an indicator of processing speed and IQ, as well as passing ability, and his positional size seems to aid in his playmaking ability. Again, we got Luka off ball. We see him cut a couple screens here, and I don't know if this is just a me thing, but when I see players cut screens, it usually signals laziness.
That's what I'm saying. All right, Anthony. Good. We're on the same page here.
To me, but maybe that is part of the game plan or
it's never a part of the game plan.
Part of what they teach. But here we get to see Luka guarding in the upper quadrant of the floor. It would be perfect if we could see him do this against somebody with a little more athletic ability and a handle. But nonetheless, he's pressuring the ball, which is a signal of good effort and willingness to defend at least. My problem with the rest of this possession is Luka ball watches the rest of this possession. He had no idea where his man is, and this is something that I would document if I was scouting him for the first time.
Damn, he's just so unwilling to play defense.
Now we get Luka involved in another on-ball action, and he goes over the top this time. Again, Luka is ball watching, has no idea where his man is. This is something that I would document once again, because this is becoming a habit. Good rebound, though, at the peak, and we're off to the races.
I wish he would have broke down a game of player, like some unknown player, because this right here is just, like, it feels cheap, right? I'm just saying, like, it's easy for me to say this, hindsight, knowing what Luka's tendencies are in the NBA. It's easy to see this now. It's always been there, looks like, right? But I wish he would have broke down a player that we don't know, just to see, like, because I feel like it's a little bit of playing with house money. Like, we already know the scouting report on Luka. I would just like to get into his brain a little bit and see how he thinks.
I love this possession because you get to see a change of pace, you get to see his handle, and this is what we would call wiggle. So this play in particular would confirm that Luka does have some change of speed and some wiggle in his game, which is definitely a positive when you're looking for somebody to be a primary ball handler in the NBA. Again, off ball Luka, locked into the ball, does not see his man. He doesn't end up paying for it in this quarter so far, but it is definitely...
But he also doesn't make any plays.
A red flag. Luka's chasing off a stagger. He ends up cutting the last screen, which you shouldn't do against a shooter typically, but we don't know his system rules, and he gets lucky that he missed. Again, is this the system or is he being lazy? On this play, Luka seems to be more engaged as to where his man is, but as he becomes the low man on the floor, he should be the last line of defense. Tavares gets beat. Luka doesn't even make an effort. So now the question becomes, how active or responsive will he be as a low man defender in the NBA? Keep in mind, you can't just camp in the paint. You have to be 2'9", so you need active and responsive defenders down there. On this possession, Luka gives a great effort on the offensive board and gets a putback. Again, that positional size is showing up for him.
And this is what's so annoying. His IQ is so good that he ends up with so many of these situations. And it's like, if he gave Steph Curry effort or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander effort on defense, I really do think his teams would just benefit so much. Because they're not great defenders either, but they try. At least the effort's there.
Put back.
He just doesn't try. And then every once in a while he'll show a flash like that. We're like, hey.
Luka catches an angle pick and roll here, and this is where you can see that size coming into play. He doesn't panic. He has two men on the ball for a second.
And I will say, to Luka's credit, I think he's making a judgment call in his head. And I'm not saying whether this is good or bad, but I've been there too, where it's like, I'm expected to play 40 minutes. I can't go after every hustle play. So I'm going to be smart about which ones I go after. I think that's what Luka does. I don't think he's incapable. I think he's just, that's what he thinks he's supposed to do to have success and what he's supposed to do to help his team win. I don't know if that, I don't think that's right. I don't think it should be right at the NBA level, but who am I?
And then he finds the weak side corner on a skip. Great read.
That pass. And this is why people put up with his nonsense on defense.
Finds the weak.
This is insane.
Weak side corner on a skip.
Great. Hit him right on target. That's a weird pass. Throw it like this. On target, on time.
Great read, great pass, and a potential assist.
Right in the shooting pocket.
Luka starts his possession off ball watching again, but then he gets back in order. Once the shot goes up, though, there's no effort to box out. His man gets the rebound and gets the and one. Felt like I said it for the 100th time. His ball watch is not a super red flag, but it is something that you have to be cognizant of.
It's definitely a red flag because he just has to score 40 for it to be worth it. And he does consistently. LeBron does it too. Yeah, it makes sense though. He's 40. The apex of that coasting mentality.
On this play, I love Luka's poise.
And I think that style of player is dying out in the NBA too. I think that's for the better.
He never got sped up, makes the easy C pass, gets the hockey assist. This is high-level poise and reads from a young player. You don't always have to make the terminating play.
And yeah, I think he's 17 here. 18, right? 17?
Love how Luka gets downhill, breaks through the elbow on this play, and finishes with an and one. He's got some speed. The NBA is a downhill league, and this shows a little promise that he'll be able to carry this over to the next level. Defensively, Luka cuts another screen against the shooter, and he pays for it. Back on the other end, more poise, more size, and another great pass from Luka to find the roller. Great read while dragging two players out on that pick and roll. Goes without saying, but his pick and roll play will definitely translate at the NBA level.
This is why he's one of my favorite players. The way he just picks apart defenses, man.
Great pass from Luka to find the roller.
This pass is crazy.
Great read.
It's just always on target, on time.
While dragging two players out on that pick and roll. Goes without saying, but his pick and roll play will definitely translate at the NBA level. NBA teams don't shock the ball like this, so his reads will be even easier. Again, we got Luka weak side. He's a low man once again. Does a good job by not overcommitting and getting out to the closeout in the corner. This shows some defensive effort. Even though it would have been perfect if he stayed in the play, it wasn't horrible. Now back on offense, let's watch Luka quarterback this play here. Now this is a professional team, and at 18 or 19, Luka's showing a lot of poise, being able to move players around to get the desired result. Comes off.
Getting into a Spain pick and roll.
Off, draws a foul, but if you look at the end of this, Felipe Reyes is open under the basket.
I mean, he didn't miss him. He got fouled. Yeah, he just called Spain pick and roll here.
So comes off, draws a foul, but if you look at the end of this, Felipe Reyes is open under the basket. This comes into effect on the next play when Luka tries to set up the same action. Again, moving guys around. I'm sure the big knows the Spain pick and roll is coming, so he's not going to be as aggressive in his coverage, and Luka's going to get an open three-pointer. He ends up missing, but the IQ in that sequence was great. That's more or less what one quarter looks like when you're building a report in real time. Over a full game, you confirm patterns, effort, decision-making, defense, consistency, but the framework stays the same. At some point after the game, it's best to add context to your reports. This is where you might add statistics from the game you just watched, or maybe from the season if it will illuminate some of the things you spoke about in your reports. Most importantly, before you turn your report in, you want to make sure that it flows correctly, your spelling is good, and that your thoughts read clearly, because these reports will live forever. And it's not uncommon for a scout to go home and have to kind of rewatch some of the game over because he didn't get a good feel for his defense or his passing or some nuance of the game. We're all human, and it's hard to get everything perfect when you're watching the game and trying to take notes in real time. But that's it. If this video was helpful, let me know in the comments.
Yeah, I like these videos. I don't know what you guys think, but again, I try to consume as much basketball as I can from different angles, because it just helps me view the game. Like if I can see how other people look at the game, it just helps me learn different nuances and things. So I like this video. Again, go like, subscribe, support Anthony Goods, and see you guys in the next one.